honestly, I almost never use it. I've got express keys on my tablet here, which the old Intuoses, they had express keys and a touch strip, not a dial. I've never set them. I tried before, but I never get used to them. I always just go back to the keyboard because it's right there, right next to me. On the Cintiq, where is it? There it is. On the Cintiq, you get a little remote that has all the express keys and the touch dial and all that, which is really nice because you can put it anywhere. It also is magnetic, so it'll stick to the tablet. At this angle, it'll just slide off, but it'll stick on there if it was at a little bit more of a flat angle, which is really nice. I don't use this. I've got a keyboard here on my desk for this computer over here, and I use that. That's me personally. I just find express keys, they are useful for certain things, but most of the time, my hand's already on the keyboard because of the programs I use like Maya. So having to get used to express keys and trying to remember which key equals which hotkey, it's more than I need. Now, the only time I have set express keys and I found very nice to use is when I'm just drawing and I want just my quick eraser, move tool, all of those very common tools, and I'll just lie back and just draw. So I'll take my Cintiq and just bring it down, or with my tablet, I'll just take my tablet and put it on my lap as I just kind of lay back and draw that way. That's the only time I've really found the express keys really nice, because now I don't have to reach for my keyboard or put a keyboard on my lap as well and all of that stuff. So that's me personally. Really, the express keys should be the tools you use the most. What you feel comfortable with and where you put them is the way you feel comfortable holding the buttons, or in this case of the remote, which side is your hand going to gravitate to first. So it just takes some practice, and you're going to be moving those hotkeys around. Like when I set up that remote there the first time, I'd put them, okay, this is going to be the perfect layout, put them exactly where I want. And then I actually started using it and animating with it, and it's like my hand automatically, I want to use the tool and it's going there instead of over there. So you'll reorganize as you go. Yeah, you could use the dial for the jog shuttle. Let's see, I used to have a real jog shuttle device. Yeah, that can be really nice to just kind of use that. For example, when I'm using Maya, I just prefer to use the hotkey K. So in Maya, let's go here. I can scrub through the timeline by clicking and dragging here. I could set up a hotkey that would scrub through it as well using the dial. But honestly, what I would do is set up a hotkey in Maya, on my express keys, to just hit the K key. And then regardless of where I click and drag, you'll notice that my timeline down there is moving because I'm holding down K as in keyframe. So just like this, I would have that same functionality. Now, if you're using something like Premiere, that would be a nice way to just scrub back and forth. I've never actually tried that with Premiere. I should. That seems like it would be a cool way to do it. My favorite use of those is usually brush sizes, because one thing I found when I'm drawing is I almost never change my brush size. So if I'm in a drawing program here, I'll set one brush size and then I never change it as I'm working, which is a bad habit. Normally you'd want to make thinner lines and then thicker lines. It makes things more visually interesting. I just don't do it. In my brain, it's I've got this size, I'm gonna make it work. So I like to set the touch strips on there. The big reason for that is my hand is already on the other side of the keyboard. So the WER section. So moving my hand all the way across for the square brackets usually is, at least to me, kind of uncomfortable. If I have it on my express keys, I can just quickly change that size just using the strip like that. Whoop, then whoop, there you go. So I'm just sliding on my Intuos here. Or if I had the Cintiq, I would just use that ring right there. That I really like. Let's see, where do I have my keyboard in relation to the tablet? For my tablet on my desk, so the Intuos Pro setup that you would have, it's right to the left of it. This way, it's, if you think of it like a standard desk setup, I wish I had a webcam that I could just point down to my desk and show. I just have it right where the mouse would be. So usually you have your keyboard there and then your mouse right on the other side. That's where it is. My mouse is actually in front of my keyboard. It's kind of at a weird angle because I don't use my mouse too often. So if it's at a weird angle, that's fine. I use my tablet most of the time. Same thing with my Cintiq. You can see where the Cintiq is right here. The keyboard is right next to it, right down there. Let's see if I can nudge my camera over just a bit here. So there's a Cintiq. The keyboard is right here. So right next to it. And it's a wireless keyboard, so I can move it around. Sometimes I'll move the keyboard so it sits under the stand here, depending on if I'm working with the Cintiq high up or not. So now it's one right under the other, and that's very nice. I do know some people with Cintiqs that get these small magnetic keyboards. I think they're made for like tablets and stuff. And they'll stick them like at the top or bottom, or sorry, top or bottom edge of the Cintiq. So it's like right there. There's this blank space right here that you can stick something to. That seems like a really cool way of doing it, because then regardless of where you put the Cintiq and what angle it is, the keyboard's right there. So for me, it's just right to the left. I have the keyboard to the left of whichever device I have. That way it's like using a mouse and keyboard. Let's see, I find the dial a little less responsive when it comes to jog shuttle. Yeah, that's why I've never set it for Maya as the scrubbing, because Maya scrubbing can be a little temperamental, and with the strips, it might kind of bog it down and you're not going to get responsiveness. I would rather have like next key, previous key, or next frame, previous frame, and just do that.